Welcome. Today is Saturday, June 26, 2021. Michael Cook speaking. I am making this video to chronicle the work that I have been up to the last couple of weeks. Well, the work I've been up to is a lot more than just this, but I'm going to go ahead and showcase what this is, and then I'm going to talk about it. So this function right here is called get pfSitemap. So now that's loaded, I can run this command here. And now I have an object with the variable sm. It is empty, but if I want to populate it and run that, that will pull the information thus far. So that is my actual location and what's coming back. Now, as you can see here, this object is inside of that object, and these have yet to be populated. So that's what these are. This function right here is going to take this string, and it's going to subdivide it into networks. So in the lab here that I'm building, you're a network administrator that wants to build a PKI infrastructure. You're about as tough as they come too, so you don't mess around or play games. Some people might mess around or play games, but not you. Nope. You want each site to pull variables from the environment to assist with certificate distribution, as well as allocation of Active Directory sites and services, group policy, DHCP scopes, DNS registry, all of that fun stuff. Because you're about as tough as they come, you want to scale out the topology logically using network 172.128.0.0/19. Reserve the zero network. So going back to 2003, when I was in high school, my instructor David Patsarian taught me and a bunch of other kids how to create subnets and to get subnet masks and etc. and so forth. But what I didn't learn until like the last couple of years is how to programmatically build all of that, which a lot of it comes down to math, but it really comes down to the binary action in the subnet mask, or the prefix length. Anyway, the potential site lists right here, you go ahead and add just the towns, just the town names. The function thus far has the zip code database, or it can turn a zip code into a name and all of that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and run these. So what this is going to do is it's going to pull this as the control for the DHCP scopes, and then this as the copies. So now if I go to sm.control, if I type it correctly, now I have that as the control network. Yeah, I had to fix them. Nope, that's actually this working correctly. So this is a string that's in notation. The 0.31 represents 0 through 31, so all of those addresses, and the 0.255 represents the remaining addresses per number here. So it's 256 there and 32 there. So 32 times 256. That's how many hosts are on this network here. But anyway, now I want to inject the rest of the sitemap. So that's just one object so far, but now I'm going to pipe in all of these. That's going to create a new certificate for each one. Well, it doesn't create the certificates quite yet. It's creating a template so that it has all of the objects in organized first. Okay, so now we're seeing what was on the top right here. It's literally copied and pasted there, but also as the site name and then site link. So I go into here. I'm going to have new sites that are available by that right there. That's what these are for. But also to give each one a physical network address. You run the command get gateway. So now it's providing an address for each network. As you can see, it doesn't start with the control network because I omitted that by filtering it here. But what it does do is it starts on the 32nd. So let me talk a little bit about what that means for anybody that's watching that doesn't understand what these numbers are. So 172.128.224.0 right here, that's the network address. That's what all of the traffic is going to use to send data in, and then the very last one, the broadcast, is going to be the output. So the input is that and the output is that, and the wildcard is essentially the subnet mask difference to 0. So the difference to 0 is if you subtract 256 from this number, you get 1. So that's one network, one address. That means that that is valid to use. And then the same thing in the second octet. So these little triplets, these 3 numbers here represent an octet, separated by a period, separated by another period, separated by another period. Sometimes there aren't 3 numbers, sometimes there's just 1 or 2. But those numbers are anywhere between 0 and 255. Well, depending on which object you're talking about. So in this particular instance, the network address is that. Now, we can define the network size with the network mask, which is the prefix. So this prefix, this 255.255.224.0 is actually /19. I'll show you how that is. So might have to split off in a separate discussion about how to generate all of the binary numbers from this. But essentially, if I take this number right here and I subtract 256 minus 224, I get 32. So that's the maximum value that that number can be different by to represent the network. And then yeah, now I'm getting a little sidetracked. I wanted to discuss that, but now what I'm trying to do is build out these virtual machines. I'm going to run the experiment right now. I know that some of them are going to fail, but whatever. It's going to take a few minutes. Actually, yeah, this is using a module by Boprox called Posh RS Job, or RS Jobs. So I'm about to spin up 7 virtual machines, and each of those virtual machines is going to represent one of these. It's going to be a gateway for location and whatnot, and it's fully automated. Yeah, and that was what was happening. That one as well. I'm not entirely sure why that keeps happening, but well, I recorded for a fair amount yesterday trying to get this working. So I'm telling the virtual machines to use those images. In fact, I'm going to just create an image for man. That was the other problem too. I have to swap in the boot image, or the image. So this image is just the boot only. It doesn't have the rest of the information. But then again, this image is a heck of a lot smaller than the main image. I'm not going to go over that right now. I'm going to try this again. Going to run all this again. I'm not going to run the top stuff, but the bottom stuff I will. And I should probably check it out. So if I turn that one off because that one failed to get the image, then it's going to spin up the 6th one. Maybe it won't. So the reason why I'm trying to automate all of this is because it's a way to set up networks for any potential customer or client. It would be useful to have a tool that allows me the ability to manage things or create a lab. That's what this is. It's a lab. And it looks like these 4 are going perfectly. But that 5th one didn't work, obviously. And the 6th one is running now. Looks like this one's gotten far enough along. Now, the problem with some of these is that they're not pulling if I run one of these by itself, it'll make it through the whole thing. But when I try to spin them all up to do it simultaneously to do lab experiments, sometimes there are errors. So while it'll work just fine on one, when I attempt to distribute the load, there are other issues that pop up. Essentially, this process is making it so that I can patch into any of these as if they are a Cisco router or a switch. And be able to use BSD to access these. And then either upgrade it to pfSense or OPNsense, and then have gateways that are not part of the Microsoft Active Directory, so to speak. So that's the point of these, is to provide some type of separation between the Microsoft environment and the internet. Well, looks like that one had an issue. So that's another issue, is probably bandwidth. Having the full-size images would probably be useful, but then I have to worry about more space. Oh, sweet! These two are actually finishing past that part now. That's not right. Yeah, it's not right. So I'm supposed to be adding a user. Whatever. Yeah, so highly inconsistent so far. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to run an installation on 1. So it sees all those in the DHCP scope, which I'm going to go ahead and remove them. So now they're not there. Now, because I'm only going to be running 1, we'll be able to see how successful the script is. I'm not going to be able to see the updates until the end. Well, we'll be able to watch it. So, I am looking to use this WDS service instead of the ISOs to do this, and then that should eliminate most of the issues that are happening. It's not too dissimilar from being a weatherman, actually. You know, at least I'm looking at it like that, where I'm trying to run multiple virtual machine installations, and I'm also providing a weather report for each zip code or town. I might be wrong on a couple of them, or maybe all of them fail because there was a 70% chance of sunshine, but then it started downpouring. Like, alright, well, sometimes that stuff happens. But when you focus on 1, this should make it 100% of the way all the way through. Ah, man, that's what's happening. Well, I guess I'm gonna fix this while recording. I'm actually going to end the recording for now. I will be making a follow-up video that shows this process working as expected. Hang on a second here. Continuing on with the previous video. Continuing on with the previous video. I'm not going to say much during this video. In fact, I'm just going to let it play. Perhaps if all three of these finish, I'll do the SSH stuff at the end. Mr. Nystrom from Deployment Bunny once said that this was a lot like watching paint dry. And I think the analogy is all too perfect. It is a lot like watching paint dry. This doesn't use the image factory approach that they used in the 2016 Microsoft Ignite video that I watched a number of times when I was first researching all of this. I realized that these are FreeBSD images, but they're using Windows deployment services. Well, they're using Hyper-V. At some point, these images will all be distributed through WDS, which is something that I'm working on, but there's a lot of components to it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So in order for this capture script to be able to capture these virtual machines, it has to go by something that it can measure outside of the virtual machine. And what it can measure is CPU inactivity or the amount of data transferred into the hard drive. Perhaps there are other ways to measure, but I'm not aware of them yet. It did disconnect those, didn't it? Yeah, it did. Okay, good. So now they're all installed from the hard drive. And now they're booting for the first time. Okay, so now I'm on the I'm on lab number 3. think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. You liked the video. Feel free to hit the thumbs up button or comment. Make a comment in the comment box below. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.